Departures and some arrivals are lined up as Hull City are ready to make their first bit of action this January transfer window. Hello there and welcome back to the HullCityFanCentral YouTube channel, where today we'll be going through some of the transfer news and gossip that will be coming out in this next week as Hull City are lining up to make their first January arrivals ahead of the FA Cup fixture against Doncaster Rovers at the weekend. It's going to be a fun week in all things considering. We're probably going to see, I want to say, about 2 departures from the senior camp for Hull City, and then possibly 2 arrivals, maybe more. We'll wait and see, but certainly should be 1, as we have got a rumoured sighting of someone at the MKM Stadium from Saturday's fixture, where we managed to come and get that 3-3 draw. Just going to sort of drop that in, because Leeds do get battered everywhere they go. So, shall we have a look into some of the departures to start off with? It's a bit of fresh news on some of the departures. I reported last week that Carl Rushworth is probably getting set to move away from Hull City. Well, it seems like that might be completely flipped on top of its head. I said last week that it was only there was reevaluating his loan situation at Hull City, along with a few other players. But it seems like he will be staying. This comes out from both at the Brighton camp and Hull City camp, reported by Baz Cooper for Hull City. We do know that Carl Rushworth is most likely going to stay at Hull City after he has returned to training following his ankle injury. So he is all within the squad, and it looks like he could possibly make his Hull City debut this Sunday. Of course, it's the FA Cup game. We know the tendency to have to not play your first team lineup, especially in City's case, where our first team is very dwindled because of injuries. To play Carl Rushworth in this game would be fantastic. He's fresh off injury, fantastic keeper, point 1, and it'll be giving him his first full professional minutes for Hull City. So fantastic for that. On the back of that, we can't really expect Hull City to keep 3 strong high-level goalkeepers on the books in Panda, Rushworth and Rashioppi. So it does sound, especially as Rashioppi was left out of the matchday squad on Saturday, that it might be his time at Hull City ending after only having 1 senior appearance, being in the Carabao Cup game earlier on this season, where unfortunately he didn't have the best of performances, and we did end up losing to Sheffield Wednesday at home in the Carabao Cup. But it does sound like he may be looking for a move away from the Tigers after being left out of the matchday squad. So we will wait and see on that front whether some official news comes out about that. Yeah, Rashioppi, it's not looking healthy for him at Hull City, I must say. Following on from that bit of news about Saturday's game, so Bedia wasn't involved in the squad whatsoever as well. It's suspected that that may be due to some aspect of his future at Hull City. Of course, heavily been reported that Hull City are looking into maybe terminating Bedia's loan deal with Hull City, sending him back to his parent club, which would free up another loan spot, which we may talk about later on in this video, with Hull City looking maybe to replace one of the loan players. Also feeding on from Saturday's game, we noticed that Abdush wasn't involved in the lineup. That was reportedly through injury, was confirmed through illness. So it was confirmed by Sayers after the match. Apparently woke up that morning and was feeling a bit sick or something. So not to worry too far on Abdush, but of course we do know that Abdush is rumoured to be making a return back to Turkey, with 3 clubs interested in him. So moving on, shall we talk about this player that was rumouredly sighted at the MKM Stadium? I think we shall. So I'll switch over to my other monitor, as I will show you this rumoured sighting. So player on the bench here. I believe this is a bit of a closer look into whoever it may be. It's reported by Hull City News stats on X, Twitter, whatever it's called nowadays. So the comments, I went into the comments to try and find out who it was, because I'm not quite familiar on my footballers' profile pictures of them sat on the side like that. Of course, they're sat on the bench with the injured players. It surely must mean that they've got some sort of heavy links within the squad. the one that makes some sort of sense to me is this one of Fofana, as Hull City were very, very close to signing Fofana in the summer transfer window. Apparently that one just fell through in the closing hours of the summer transfer window, as we heavily reported back in the summer. It may not be Fofana. Apparently he undertook surgery 2 weeks ago, so it could not possibly be him. We'll wait and see on who that one maybe develops into being. Somebody else commented, I'm unsure about this one, but they walked into the stadium 20 minutes late with Charlie Hughes, of course Charlie Hughes being injured. So it could maybe be Fofana coming in injured and just scoping out the lineup. But if they're in a full Hull City kit, I presume that it'll be someone that is pretty much near signing with Hull City. So some fresh bit of news here from today around 3 players that could possibly be coming into the Tigers. So one of them is pretty much nailed on, going to be happening very, very soon. And that being a Middlesbrough player. Matt Crooks is currently undergoing a medical at Hull City ahead of a permanent move there. This comes out from James Hogarth. I understand former Middlesbrough Rangers and Scunthorpe United loanee midfielder Matt Crooks is currently at Hull City undergoing a medical ahead of a possible permanent deal. He's currently playing in the US with MLS team Real Salt Lake. He joined them in last February. So very, very interesting one here. We do know that Hull City may be on the scope out for some midfielder in some capacity, maybe with sending a few of the midfielders back on loan, maybe the likes of Finley Burns and stuff like that, as we have reported already on the channel. So Matt Crooks looking on the cards like it might be the first signing of this January transfer window. With his medical currently undergoing at the MKM Stadium, we can maybe suspect that if all things go correct and go to plan, that he could be making his permanent move to the MKM Stadium, and it could be announced before this Sunday's fixture against Doncaster Rovers, which means that he could possibly be in line to be playing in that FA Cup third round fixture. So we've got 2 more players that could be making a switch to the MKM Stadium. One of them being a current Premier League player in Willy Boly. Willy Boly. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce his surname. It's one of the 2, I presume. The 33-year-old is currently playing for Nottingham Forest over in the Premier League. We know how well Nottingham Forest are doing. And he's been a mainstay in the Premier League for quite some time, especially with Nottingham Forest. I think he's racked up over 130-odd appearances in the Premier League and about 60-odd in the Championship. He's played also over in the Portuguese and French top flight. So he's a fantastic, experienced defender centre-back that Hull City are maybe eyeing up a move to bring him in on a permanent deal this January. He is unhappy with not having as much game time as he'd like over at Nottingham Forest at the moment, as he seems to be a bench backup option for them, as they are currently pretty much tearing up majority of the Premier League, as Nottingham Forest are flying high up there. So Hull City and Millwall do seem to be the top teams interested in the 33-year-old currently. And he's also out of contract in the summer, so you could maybe understand Nottingham Forest maybe wanting to shift him on at the moment, especially with him maybe being a bit unhappy, not playing as much. So it'll certainly be a very interesting one to follow this with Willy Boly, or Willy Boly, not 100% sure how to pronounce his name. I'll probably have a look into it, shouldn't I? But yeah, certainly seems to be a very good one, especially an experienced defender to go along with this back lineup. Of course, you've got Alfie Jones and Sean McLaughlin at the moment, maybe come in and replace Sean McLaughlin whilst Charlie Hughes is still out injured. And then beyond that, maybe evaluate your defensive lineup maybe in the summer, or maybe even later on in this January transfer window, depending on Charlie Hughes' recovery. I apologise, Charlie Hughes. Got to get it out like that. Another defender looking to make a switch to Hull City, this time it being a lone one, and it being a left back as well. I mean, I'm going to try and pronounce his name. He is Polish, so do forgive me on this, because this will be absolutely not how to pronounce his name. I'm just going to go for the surname, because I'm not going to try the first name. Puchacz. I'm going to guess. He's currently playing for Hostel Kiel in Germany, so over in the German top flight. Yeah, we're going back into the German market, but this seems like it might be a good one. The 25-year-old has a few championship clubs interested in a loan agreement for him after he's made 10 appearances and 1 assist so far this season. He seems a fantastic player, got competitive games under his belt for Poland over in the Euros and up in Germany's top flight. Only 25 years old, a left back as well. Coming into Hull City on a loan for the second half of the season. Seems like it may be quite a promising one, with the aspect of that also being off the back of it. We could send Matty Jacob out on loan to a League One side. Yeah, Matty Jacob is doing quite well at Hull City, but if you can send him out on loan to play week in, week out in League One football, then reevaluate him back in the summer, we may have a player that could play for us week in, week out next season at the left back position. He'd also come in and maybe put a bit of competition on Ryan Giles, which wouldn't be too bad, would it? And also, he would be a fantastic player in himself. 10 appearances, 1 assist so far this season, with quite a few championship clubs already interested in the loan agreement for him. So certainly seems like a very interesting one for us to be scouting that out. So some very, very interesting transfer news gossip coming out of the Hull City camp so far. After a little bit of a slow start, people thought that we maybe have seen a player signed before the Leeds game. Well, it seems like it's all going to be kicking up underway now as we look forward to the FA Cup third round fixture against Doncaster Rovers this Sunday. So make sure you stay tuned to the YouTube channel, as I will keep updated on everything Hull City, including all the transfers. I'll keep updated if any of these players sign, along with all the transfer rumours, news, gossip like that. I'll also keep you updated on everything revolving around Hull City, even outside of the transfers. I keep you updated on everything. So make sure you like and subscribe here on the YouTube channel. Go and check me out over on X, Twitter, whatever it's called nowadays. I do keep up to date a bit more on the breaking news around there, and I'm also a bit active on the old TikTok now. If you want to see a bit more clips around Hull City, a bit more of my content, you can go and check me out over there. All of the links are in the description or on the channel somewhere. So I will see you in the next video. So make sure you like and subscribe, and up the Tigers.